we create the like I said, it's not required on your the assignment, but this is just showing you that you can actually do image, right? We use icons and we use array list to give the type as image class and name icons because we pretty much want to put it on the top of menu like that, right? On the frame like that image. And then now, yeah, this is just starting point that you start to see try now. Try catch. So let's talk about this a little bit. So what's try catch? It is exception when when there's something wrong. Here it's going to throw exceptions, and it's just like very similar to if there is a problem, then we do out the message, right? Something like that. That URL is broken. So the first try is for this URL that I try to read in an image, right? Now, after we read in the image from URL, if there's no problem, then it's going to go and add the image, right, to the list. So this is a list. Okay. So some of you may see this first tab. This is just like an array. Okay, an array list. Like you can store information as in the form of table. So the first one go to the first, and the second like an array. I will show you in the Excel, then you understand. It's just like that with the infinites. Like when you declare an array, normally you have to give the size to 10, right? But when you use array list, it's just dynamic allocate the storage for you. It's dynamically allocate the storage for you. Then you don't need to worry about defining the size when you use it. Now it's pretty much just store the URL 16 and then URL 32, those two instances of URLs. Now, that's what we did here, right? Into the list. And what we do is we need to read it. Like this is the URL as a type, but we said the list is going to store an image. So we need to do the image io.read, right? So this image IO require, when you're dealing with IO, you need to do IO exceptions. IO like read input output. If there's a prompt to read the input, then it's going to throw cannot read the image, right? So I'll catch, the catch exception, and it's going to print out a message, right? So if there's a problem, something like that, then we going to say that, right? So but we use try catch. Now, why don't we use if else? We could use if else too, right? If else can do the same thing, but in this case we cannot use if else because when you do exceptions, it's based on the class that you use. Sometimes when you create a new class and you want to make sure that the one called this class to use, right, call the method of this class to use, like the method to read. We didn't implement our image IO, we imported in, right, from the library. Like list to, array list to, URL, right, IO exception, image, right there, right? So then the user want to make sure that you're going to handle right? If in case that there's a problem with reading in the output. It's actually very beneficial here when you do this. Why? Because if it's not requiring you to handle by putting try catch, then you may happen to run the program and the program may having an error, cannot open and read the file. Then you don't even know what is going wrong. It's going to break the program and freeze the program, right? But when you're doing this, your program will never be frozen because the program still run, right? And if there's a problem, just print out the message, then you know. But the program's still working as usual. Okay, like sometimes you may have several modules in the program. Like you're not going to deal with the image just for the icon and make that icon image broke the program, right? So like we try to do login, then the login functionality of the program is still working even the image not showing. But if you do if else, is pretty much it may just halt the program right there, right? So now let's see, we understand this. So this is after you read in the image, then we start to set the icon images, which is the method of JFrame. Then we have the image, and we just try to show you this one to make sure that it's going to be, whenever you run it, it's going to be a full screen, right? So this is just make it full screen here, right? Set application to full screen. Now to dealing full screen, we know that different computer or laptop has different resolution, right? That you set under control panel. Then we can't really set the actual dimensions here because we don't know what dimensions X and Y being set as the screen resolution. Then we need to use the toolkit to help to get width and get height. Toolkit pretty much just a class that's going to get a default, which is setting from your display settings. Then we have the dimension up. Then every time we run the program, we have the full screen, and we make it set visible to true. Then we see that. Okay, and let's run, and then we can see what we have here so far. So we have the image, we have the ATM authentication as the title, and it's full screen. So we're making a simple JFrame here. We use extend JFrame, that means login page is a JFrame. Now, next, the best layout, the default layout for JFrame is border layout. So what's border layout? Border layout is talking about we have the area of the screen, blank screen like that. Border is going to be let me insert a shapes. Okay, so this is going to be to your north. Let me insert another shape, maybe it's easier. Like this is north, right? Same, we have south. Like border, right? We have east. Sometimes we call top, bottom, right, left. And we have west. And I also see there's something we call like page up, page down. And the one in the middle we call center. So that's border layout. So it's pretty much just helping you to set the layout of your like buttons, text fields, we call all like components. Okay. So this is called border layout. Now, like we said, JFrame default is border layout. That means if I need to add something, and it's always set to center, so it's going to go to the middle of the page. Right, we just show you on the screen right there, center. Look like. Now I'm going to add a component. So we said we're going to do a button first. So we're going to add a button. I'm going to do J button. So J button pretty much is part of the javax.swing. Let's name a button name login equals to new J button. And if you put a text here, that's the name of the button. Okay. And I want to add another button also called like reset. Okay, button. So what we plan to do is the login is going to let you log into the checked off for authentication. Reset is just clear. Now we just create those two buttons. We need to add them to the frame. To add, we have the method called add. Okay, so I'm gonna add it right before we set it visible then. So add is the method of JFrame and we call login. Alright, so let's see what we get for now first. Like I said, it should be central to the screen, right? To the frame, like that. We have big login button. Now, if I add the I call reset button, can you guys guess what happens? By default, it's going to go to the center, like I said. So it's going to go over the login, right? It's just on the top. Then, if you don't want that to happen, so you can just say add and you provide a location here by calling BorderLayout dot. Right? If you want one to go to the login to go to the south, right? Something like that. And of course, you need to import this in, right? So let's see what happens. And login is at the south. See that?